Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast and happy Easter to everyone. Hope you are having a good weekend. So before we get started here, just a quick disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. Okay, so there is something we need to keep in mind here in regard to the OPEC. Last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday that we heard comments that OPEC and Russia were coming to some agreements, and they had decided to cut. I think it was 10. Actually, I shouldn't say the number. I think but basically they had agreed to cut back on the production numbers, and not just the extra production that had been brought in with Saudi Arabia and Russia gas wars, or price wars, I should say, but from the previous amount. So overall, anyways, the comments were that they were coming to an agreement and there would be production cuts in terms of oil. Now, there are these special urgent meeting that got called here on Sunday. So keep an eye out if you are trading oil or Canadian dollar. Any kind of comments that come out of this meeting could be, well, it will have an impact on the market. So if, for example, they are not able to negotiate the production cuts, or somebody's backtracking, anything like that, that would be negative for the oil, although we did see that oil went up and then dropped right away. So anyway, just keep an eye on that if you're trading oil or Canadian dollars specifically. And then coming up on Monday, of course, we do have it being Easter Monday. It's bank holiday in a lot of different countries here. And with China, though, we do have trade balance numbers here. So with the China opening up now, the trade balance numbers are likely to be positive. But if we see that the trade balance number is actually not as good as what's expected here, we could see a negative impact on Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, because both of those countries are close trade partners with China. So keep an eye on that. And then we also have on Wednesday here, we have consumer sentiment numbers here out of Australia. They were negative as expected, and we are likely to see more negative numbers here as well. So something that is in line with this should not really have much of a difference. Unless it drops significantly, then that would be bad for Australian dollar. Now, US here, US dollar has not been doing so well. US, in fact, are one of the reasons that's causing US dollar to lose its value is because of the number of coronavirus cases. So we have basically seen the virus move from east into the west, and the number of coronavirus cases in US has been going up. So as a result of that, we have seen US dollar not do so well, but there are also measures that the government is taking. So government announced another, I believe it's $2.4 trillion in stimulus package to help support the economy. So that was positive for the stock markets, and stock markets, as we'll take a look at it in a bit, they did really well based on that news. So overall, though, we could see US dollar continue to decline. We'll take a look at the charts in a bit, but these numbers are way worse than what the previous numbers were. And if these are actual numbers come in below expectations here, that will have a negative impact on the US dollar. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Bank of Canada here. Bank of Canada has dropped their interest rates considerably over the last little while here. I'm not expecting any more of a drop at this point. But basically, what we're looking for in terms of Bank of Canada statement would be what kind of support they will be providing the markets. And I would assume, just like all the other central banks around the world, Bank of Canada will be would have similar statements as well. So not expecting a big impact as a result of this statement, unless they do something drastic, which I think they have already basically fired all their bullets here. So not really expecting much difference here. And then, of course, there's press conference. Usually we generally see first impact when the report comes out, and then at the press conference as people get to ask questions. Employment numbers here for Australia here, we have seen Australian dollar do well this week, but if these numbers, as we can see, they are supposed to decline, which is what we're seeing around the world, but if they're worse than expected, like we saw in the US, then we could see Australian dollar decline as a result of that. Coming up here, we again have unemployment claims here, looking for 5 million new applications here. Last time the expectations was 5 million and we got 6.6 million. So again, if you get bad numbers like that, it would be basically bad for US dollars, so keep that in mind here. China GDP numbers here, they are expected to be negative, which as we all know, China was shut down, so this makes sense, but as it's opening up now, these numbers will start going up, but for now, if the number is worse than expected, it would be bad for Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, them being close trade partners here. And then of course we have CPI yearly numbers for euro here. Euro's not been doing as well against the US dollar or just overall as some of the other currencies. So we'll need to keep an eye on the numbers that come out of the Eurozone, but also on the negotiations that Eurozone is having in between different countries. So there are parts of the Eurozone that are doing relatively well, and there are others that are not doing that well, and they need to come to an agreement in terms of how to support the different economies. And so far, they haven't been able to reach an agreement. So if an agreement is reached, that will be positive for euro. That's another thing that's kind of going on in the background. So keep an eye on any comments that come out in regards to those negotiations within the Eurozone. All right, so that's it in terms of the news. So let's move on to our charts now. As usual, we'll start off with euro dollar here. With euro, so we saw this move to the upside, and as we can see, market has been wild, just going back and forth here. With this one though, one thing to keep in mind here is we are seeing lower highs here. So this is an interesting place that the price is at right now. In one sense, oh, it looks like my annotation is gone, so I wouldn't be able to draw on this. We'll have to turn it on after. Okay, so basically what I'm looking at here is one of the scenarios will be the price is into resistance here and it drops back down from here because overall trend is still to the downside. So we could see this as a pullback for a further move to the downside, in which case our target would be 1.0650. Now, the concern here is that we are into support here. So this is an important support level and price could continue higher and go back towards basically the top of this range that price has been trading in for the last 3 weeks. So those are the two scenarios that I'm looking at right now. But the weekly looks bullish right now. So we could see a further move to the upside. So overall, between the two scenarios, I am neutral on this. And I will basically keep an open mind in regards to the movement towards the top here into 1.1150, or if it gets stuck below 1.0950, then I will look for a further move to the downside. So neutral bias at this point for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, pound has held relatively well actually. So with this one here, we could see a further move to the upside. So bias is bullish, but I would say with caution because again, we are into resistance. And last time price was here, we saw a drop. So this could happen once again. So I would say bullish bias, but with caution. Next target here is 1.2580. And then above that, we're looking at 1.2660. So bullish bias here for pound dollar. Just be cautious of this resistance that we are in right now. All right, Aussie here. Aussie has done very well. We see that price has broken through the resistance levels here. So this one's looking bullish. And next target is 0.6465. And then above that, we could see price go into 0.6580 or even potentially basically to retest the high at 66.50. So bias is bullish. We could get a pullback though. Watch out for pullback into 0.6200 or even into 0.6280. So those are the two pullback levels. Bias overall is bullish for Aussie dollar. I'm having a hard time without my arrows or my drawing tool here. Okay, so next one. Looking at New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has also done well, but as we can see, price is into resistance here. Just get rid of these. Okay, so we see that price is into resistance here. So that's something we'll have to watch out for, similar to kind of the pound dollar. If price does not hold above 0.6100, we're likely to see a drop back down. And then we could see basically a further move to the downside towards the base of this this candle here, which is 0.5850. However, bias is still bullish here. So once it manages to get through, then we're looking at 0.6250. So what I'm going to do right now is just put both of these support resistance levels here. So depending on how price reacts here at 0.6100, if it holds below, I'm looking for that move back towards the bottom of the range here. If not, we are looking for sorry, 1 second. Okay, so if it goes through, then I'm looking at 0.6250. Dollar CAD here. Dollar CAD has done, our Canadian dollar has done well here. So we are into support, but overall price is making a lower highs and lower lows here, looking for price to drop. So bias is to the downside here. We could get a pullback into 1.4050 and then a drop here. And target here is 1.3800. And then below that, we're looking at 1.3700. So bias is, bearish here for dollar CAD. Now, just keep in mind though, US dollar is taking a beating now. So should it turn around, all of these will turn. So just keep an eye on a daily chart as to what happens here. But for now, bias is bearish for dollar CAD. Euro pound here. Euro pound has had quite a wild ride here as well. Big move up, and now we are on our way down. But price is into important support level here. For the last 2 weeks, it hasn't been able to break this support level. So we need to be cautious, essentially. If it doesn't break, I would look for price to go back up towards 0.8860 here. But right now, it is looking bearish, so bias is bearish. Next target is 0.8650 for euro pound. Euro Swiss franc here. This one's still bearish here. Now, price has been stuck in this little range for several weeks now. So not the best one here, but once it breaks through the support, we could see it drop further. So bias is bearish here. First target is very close, 1.0520, and then 1.0420. So overall bearish bias here for Euro Swiss franc. I will look for a breakdown. But like I said, Euro Swiss has just been range bound for a number of weeks here. So we'll have to keep a closer eye on that. Pound Swiss franc here. This one is neutral here. We see that price is into resistance. This is a good support and resistance level, and it hasn't been able to break the previous week's high. And the candle, of course, is an indecision candle. So neutral bias for this one. What I'm looking for is a retest of the high of this candle, which is 1.2080, and then a potential drop if it doesn't go through. So in this case, the target is 1.1900. and potentially 1.1780. But the important level to watch will be 1.2080. Now, should it go through though, then we are likely to see this one go further into this support resistance level, which is good, 1.2280, or potentially even higher. But for now, bias is neutral for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc here, this one has not fared as well. All the US dollar crosses, or US dollar has actually just been taking a beating right now. So for now, bias is bearish here. We do have a bearish candle close, lower highs, so looking for a drop, but do notice we are into support. So it's important to see a break for this one to continue. But next target here is 0.9570, and then we're looking at 0.9500. So bearish bias here for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen here, this one has done well. We see that price did go through this resistance level. So we have a bullish engulfing candle close, but do keep an eye here. It's right into this resistance level, and just like this one here, we could see a drop. So watch out for that. But for now, bias is bullish. Next target is 136.50. And then above that, we are looking at okay, we're looking at 138.80. So bias here is bullish for, so bullish bias for pound yen. So I'm looking for a pullback and then a further move to the upside here. Actually, with all the yen crosses and Swiss franc crosses, if the equity markets drop, then we are likely to see reversal in all the yen crosses as well. So the relationship generally is when the stock market is doing well, yen crosses are going up. When the stock market is going down, yen crosses are going down as well. So just keep that relationship in mind. Okay, so this one here, euro yen. Euro itself has not been very strong. So we do see a pullback here in the euro from the level it was at, but it's not as strong. However, it is bullish still, and we could see price go into the top of this little range at 120.20, or even potentially all the way up into 121. And now, having said that, those stock markets here will be very important. Right now, stock markets are doing well because of all the stimulus that's coming in, but we could see a turnaround, especially in this kind of environment. Every time the markets go up, or stock markets go up, we see that people will try to sell into that, and that can push it back down. So it's very important for us to keep a close eye on the stock markets when trading the yen crosses, just because of the relationship. Okay, so bias is bullish. It is into resistance, so I'm going to say bullish with caution, because we could see a pullback from here. So basically, drop, pullback, and a further drop. So that could happen. So keep an eye on 119. If it holds below, I am looking for a further move to the downside towards 117. But should it go through, I will look for this next resistance level at 121. Dollar yen here, this one is looking bearish. We have a doji here. So this one is biased to the downside here. With this one as well, just keep in mind, we are again into this support resistance level. A lot of these crosses are into important support resistance levels. So we do need to see how they react to these levels, because as we have seen, things will turn around. But right now, bias is bearish. Next target here is 107. So bearish bias for dollar yen. Aussie yen here, this one, just like our Aussie dollar crosses, we see that price finally broke through this resistance level. So bias now is bullish here for Aussie yen, and we could get a potential pullback into 67.70 or 67.50. So watch out for that. And in terms of our target here, we are very close to the first target at 69.50. And then a second target here is 71. So bias is bullish for Aussie yen. New Zealand yen here, this one has done well as well. The only difference here is this is still into resistance. It hasn't broken through this resistance level. So watch out for that, because as we can see, last time price was into this resistance, we saw it drop. So this is the range that price has been trading it for the last several weeks here, or it's been trading below this range, this level for several weeks. So if it doesn't break through, we could see it come back just like it did here. So that's the caution, but right now it is pushing into the resistance. It is looking bullish, and next target here is 67 or 66.980. 66.80, and then we have 68.20. So bias is bullish here for New Zealand yen as well, but just with caution. CAD yen here, Canadian dollar turned around, and with that we have CAD yen looking bullish here as well. Price tried to basically go lower, it failed, and now we are looking bullish. But again, it hasn't quite broken through that resistance. It hasn't held above that resistance. So I will watch out for this one as well. So bullish bias here, just with caution. Next target is 79. And then above that, we could see price going into 80. So bullish bias here for CAD yen as well. All right, so let's move on to our commodities now. Starting off with silver, we have a nice bullish candle close here for silver. So this is looking bullish. Again, this one is also into resistance. Like I said, a lot of these crosses are into resistance here. So we just have to be careful, see right into this resistance level here. But bias is bullish here. Next target will be 16.20, and then we're looking at 16.50. So bias is bullish here for silver. In terms of a pullback, we could get a pullback into 15.15 or even 15, and then a further move to the upside. So bullish bias for silver. Gold here, this one is looking bullish as well, but as we can see, price is right into that resistance level and getting close to the highs from the last couple of weeks here. With this one here, just notice that we're right into resistance. Last time price was here, it tried to go up and then had a big drop. So watch out for that again, but it is looking bullish. Next target is 1703. And should it break through that, we have more room to the upside with this one, and then 1722. So bias here is bullish for gold. Oil here, like I said, oil has not done that well, even with all the meetings that they have had between Russia, OPEC, and trying to come to the agreement in regards to cutting oil production. So based on those rumors, we did see that move to the upside, and then on Friday, or at least towards the towards the end of the week, I should say Thursday, it tried to go through and then bounced back down. So bias here is bearish. Now keep in mind, we are very close to the support here at 26, so watch out for that. But overall, this is the range that price has been trading in. It's just been shuttling back and forth between this. So looking for price to drop, essentially, first target would be 26, and then we could see it come all the way into 21.50. So bias is bearish for oil. Now, like I said at the beginning, we do have OPEC meetings this Sunday. So these are emergency OPEC meetings. So we don't know whether the emergency meeting is called because somebody's backtracking, or they're trying to put more basically more cuts and more sort of control over the market into place. We'll have to just wait and see what kind of comments come out. If the comments are that they cannot reach an agreement, basically somebody's backtracking from that, from the production cuts that they had agreed to, I would look for oil to drop, and this could happen even at the open of the markets, and with that, Canadian dollar will drop as well. But on the flip side though, if it's positive news that actually they have come to some sort of an agreement that they will maintain and everybody will comply with it, then I will look for price to basically go back into the high. So at this point, we need to see what comes out of the OPEC meetings. Based on the technicals though, this is bearish. Copper here, copper's looking well. We do have a bullish candle close here. And in terms of our support resistance, where are we? It is into resistance level, so do be mindful of that, because this is where we did see price go up and then got stuck here for a while before it actually went through it. So I would say bias is bullish with caution though, because of this resistance level. But should it go through that next level that we are looking at, is 2.36 and then 2.45. So bullish bias here for copper. But like I said, because this is an important resistance level, 2.28, we could see a move back down. So just keep that in mind, but bias is bullish for copper. Bitcoin, I actually did not take a look at the weekly numbers here, but based on, I'm not sure if anybody has the weekly numbers handy, but right now this is looking bearish. We could get a pullback into 72.40-ish level before we see a further move to the downside, but bias is bearish here. And then 65.70 or 65.50, I would say, is the first target. And then below that, we're looking at 58.20. So just based on these Fridays, on the Friday's close, this is one is looking bearish, but watch out for a pullback before we actually see a drop here. All right, let's take a look at our indices here. Huge move here in S&P 500. Like I said, they are US, put out stimulus package, another stimulus package for $2.4 trillion. And that has the market exuberant here. So right now, this is looking bullish. Now it is into resistance level, so just be mindful. This is where we have seen prices reacted to this level several times, so we could get a drop. And a lot of times we've seen when we see a move to the upside, a lot of people come in to sell. So that's another thing that we have to be mindful of, because these rallies can lead to good selling opportunities, and that could cause the market to go down. So we need to pay attention to relationship between equities and the Forex, because things will flip as soon as the stock markets do. For now though, it is looking bullish. Now we could get a pullback into 27.40-ish level, back into the support resistance level, and then a bounce up from here. And in that case, we're looking at 28.70 as our target here. Should it go through that, then we are looking at 29.50. So bullish bias for now for S&P 500. But with all of these, we do need to keep an eye on the dailies, because they will change. Okay, so Nasdaq here right into our resistance level. So be mindful of that, but it is looking bullish right now. Once it gets through the resistance, we're likely to see it go further up into 86.70 and potentially into 89.50. But again, should people think that this is a good selling opportunity, we could see a drop again, because price is into strong resistance level. And should that happen, this one could come all the way down back from where it started from. So that's the caution, but bullish bias for Nasdaq as well. Dow Jones here. This one is looking bullish as well. And as we can see, price is right into the support resistance level again, but it has broken through the resistance level and still has a lot of momentum to the upside. I would look for a pullback into 23,300 and then a further move to the upside. But again, if it gets if it doesn't go through this resistance at 23,950, so about 24,000, then we could see this reverse. But for now, bias is bullish for Dow Jones as well. Same thing here for DAX as well. We see that price has traveled quite a way here from the tops. So we do have a little bit room here into resistance. It's not quite there yet, It's into a little bit of a resistance, but the major resistance is right here. Bias is bullish. In terms of a pullback, we could get a pullback into 10,400 potentially, and then a further move to the upside. So in terms of our targets here, first target is 11,000, and then 11,380, or even all the way into 11,500. So bullish bias for DAX as well. FTSE, same thing here as well. All the equity markets have done well overall. They've all broken through the resistance last week. So looking for a further move to the upside here, 6,100 will be the first target. And then above that, we are looking at 6,200, so basically back into the top of this candle here. So bullish bias here for FTSE. And then we have Nikkei. Nikkei also bullish here, but as we can see, it's right into our support resistance level here. It hasn't really managed to hold above 19,650. So this was the good support resistance level where price was kind of bouncing off of. So I would say just be cautious with this one, but it is bullish. And next target here is 20,000. 200, and should it go through that, we have 21,000. So bullish bias here for Nikkei as well. All right, so that's all that I have. Just one thing here though, I will be doing, I'm going to start doing the webinars again. It's been a while since I've done any webinars, but I think there are a lot of learning opportunities right now in the market, just in terms of observing the markets and how the markets react. So the webinars, of course, are free. I will be, if you're on my list, you will get an email from me, but keep an eye out for the email. I will announce something. Generally, I like to do them on Thursdays. So that's the time to join if you're interested. We'll just talk about some important topics that we basically, learning opportunities that we have in the market. And I will pick some topics on what I find. But if you're looking to learn Forex, then I am offering a current promotion just because of everything that's going on in the market. This is a good time to learn. In order to support everyone, I am offering a huge discount on the course. And in order to get the discount, all you have to do is just put in a coupon code, "We got this." And that's it for today. Any questions? Okay, so that's it. Are the webinars? Yes. Okay, I will record the webinars, sure. And I will send them out and put them on YouTube as well. All right, so if you guys want to join the training, then you can join it at tradingwithvenus.com/Forex. And then you just need the coupon code, "We got this." All right, guys, have a wonderful trading week, and I will see you again with the daily analysis on Monday. Bye for now.